The moment we try to change something inside us, life does not become suddenly peaceful. Instead, our old habits become louder, our mind becomes restless, and we feel confused. The Bhagavad Gita explains this clearly in verse 7 and verse 8. These verses shows what happens inside us when we start becoming aware. In the last episode, we learned about Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, verse 4, 5 and 6. We saw Duryodhan counting Pandava's warriors. These warriors are good qualities inside us, like clarity, discipline, courage and right understanding. That was the moment when awareness entered. And when awareness enters, the forces which rule till now feel disturbed, and that disturbance is explained in verse 7. Now let us learn about Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye tanni bodha dvijottama nayaka mama sanyasya sadnyartham tan brevimite. The meaning of this verse is, listen to, O flower of the twice born, that is best of the Brahmins, about the generals of my army who are prominent amongst ourselves. These I speak about now for thine information. Duryodhan turns to his teacher Drona and says he will now speak about leaders of his own army. In Sanskrit, Duryodhan represents kāma, that is material desire, and Drona represents saṁskāra, that is old habit tendencies formed by past actions. On the surface, it sounds confident, but inside it is fear. Desire realizes that it may not rule freely anymore. Hence, verse 7 teaches us this: when awareness rises, desire becomes alert and start depending more strongly on old habits. And that is how Duryodhan turns to his teacher Drona. Now let us understand Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse 8. Bhavan bhishmascha karnascha kripascha samitinjayah ashvatthama vikarnascha saumadatti jayadratah. The meaning of this verse is, these warriors are thyself, Drona, Bhishma, Karna and Kripa, victors in battles, Ashvatthama, Vikarna, the son of Somadatta, and Jayadratha. In verse 8, Duryodhan starts naming the leaders of his army. But Bhagavad Gita is not talking about people, it is explaining the forces inside human mind. These forces are described precisely in Sanskrit terms because it operates deeply within us. Drona represents saṁskāra, that is old habit impressions formed by past thoughts and past actions. These impressions push us back into old patterns again and again. Bhishma represents asmitā, that is ego, the basic sense of I am this body, I am this mind. Ego feels natural, so we rarely question it. And that is why it is the strongest force. Karna represents rāga, that is attachment, doing things not because they are right, but because they give pleasure and comfort. Kripa represents avidyā, that is ignorance, mistaking the temporary for permanent and the outer world for truth. Because of avidyā, we keep repeating the same mistakes. Ashvatthama represents āśaya, that is latent desires. These are not desires which we think about consciously. They are stored deep in the subconscious mind. Every unfulfilled desire leaves a subtle impression. That impression waits quietly and rises again when the conditions are favorable. As long as desire keeps producing more desire, the cycle continues. Vikarna represents dveṣa, that is aversion, running away from discomfort instead of understanding it. Jayadrath represents abhiniveśa, the deep attachment to the body, the fear of loss and the fear of death. These are the last bonds to loosen on the spiritual path. The Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 verse 7 and 8 teaches us this: transformation does not begin with force, it begins with understanding. Because what is understood loses its power to control us.